Right, then we have got a very special edition of Vibe with Five today, and this is only our first video of the day that's going to be going out. The usual Vibe with Five, where someone's probably going to start waffling all sorts about winning the league, will be coming later, 5 o'clock, the usual drill, so stay tuned for that. But today, Jamie Carragher started throwing a little bit of jabs out on Twitter, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Some
did.
in your direction.
Yeah, I was putting guards up.
So we're getting him on to see what he's got to say for himself.
Jamie Carragher, you know, good sport coming on.
Good sport coming on there because he knows there's going to be shots fired on there.
Let's go. All right, so Jamie, yesterday Ronaldo releases the intro to an interview he has with Piers Morgan, and you couldn't wait. Straight away, you got on there on Twitter and you tweeted, Ronaldo, I don't respect the manager. And then you said Ronaldo under ETH announced he wants to leave, refused to come on as a substitute, walked off the bench and left before the game had finished. 99% of the United fans will be on Eric Ten Hag's side, which shows how badly Ronaldo has handled this. And then you put a subtweet, which is the reason why we're here. The 1% will be Rio, Roy and Patrice. Wow. Steve, I'm going to let you roll on from here because that set off fireworks.
Yeah, listen, before we get into any of this, there's a massive elephant in the room that we've got to address. So you're talking about the 1% of people that might not be happy with what Ronaldo's done, and you're insinuating the 1% are his mates, right? Rio, Roy Keane, Patrice Evra. But before we get into that, we need to talk about you and Steven Gerrard and the protection that he's had off you, despite being the worst manager in the league this year.
No.
Why is it all right for you to do that, but not these lot?
Why went to defend him?
I can read out some headlines if you like.
Go on then.
So, Steven Gerrard has the same number of points as Frank Lampard, which wasn't a lot, by the way. Yet Everton's chant the name of their manager. As a coach, Gerrard would be the first to admit he is a work in progress, including his time at Liverpool Academy. He's only been in management for 5 years. It's plenty of time, though, isn't it?
It sounds like protection to me.
Are you seeing how Aston Villa have done since he went?
Do you know
Villa took a calculated gamble when making the appointment.
I did the game yesterday.
Let's move on to the nitty gritty.
He's been
we know we
going in
can't
on
talk about
Lampard
his mate.
to
Let's leave it. Don't
And
worry.
then you pretty much admitted, I'm not going to talk about him because he's my mate.
I said Stevie was right to lose his job. I actually did that newspaper article the day before they played Man City. So I didn't do it when they had an easy game. They actually got a good result against Man City. But I think it was the right decision for him to go because the manager before went in similar circumstances. And I said that. Now, did Rio say that about Ollie?
Yep.
He did in the end.
Yep,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, he had to because he had nowhere to go because you were Mr.
No, I think I was one of the first ones to say it.
That far with it.
I was one of the first ones to say it, I think.
Yeah.
The lads in your studio didn't say it, I don't think, either.
No. they were looking after the mates, weren't they? And I called them out on that.
No, but you know what? I mean, you called me out, and listen, if I expected anybody to call me out on Twitter, it was you. And you beat anyone else that was capable to the punch. So I respect you for that. But you know what? On this whole issue, you can't sit here and defend that from Cristiano Ronaldo because deep down, and I know for a fact, this has all been manufactured for one thing, and that's for him to leave the club. Like this love affair with Man United that Cristiano's had is now over. In my eyes, I'd like to get your take on how you feel on it, but I don't feel that there's any way back. I don't feel that the club will take him back, and I don't think that he wants to come back. I think that is a given, and I think this is all manufactured for that reason that he wants to get out of this place.
No, I totally agree. But I mean, what I want to sort of ask you as well, though. I mean, this is why. I don't. People always, I think, have got the idea that I sort of don't like Cristiano Ronaldo, being very critical of him. I was more critical of the club for bringing him in because I don't see how nobody saw this happening. How would you think it was ever going to end for Ronaldo at Man United? Because the player he was never going to accept being a substitute, and at some stage, because of his age, he was going to have to be a sub, and that's come now. His first season on an individual level, he still scored about 25 goals, which is fantastic, certainly in a team who weren't great and at his age as well. But I don't see when all that euphoria started when he first came in. I could see it a mile off. How it was always going to end like this. There was no other way this was going to end, and I couldn't believe.
I know I've heard you say that a few times, but my point was always, and it's like. Jamie, when you're in a club, if the manager doesn't or the club doesn't communicate with you properly, things can go left. I think you've got and someone like Cristiano, given what he's done in the game, he's in a place where he deserves that. Us mere mortals like me and you, we're dealt with like everybody else, like fodder. But these type of players, they're different. You've never been in a change room with a player of that stature. I appreciate that. It's understandable. I'm sorry. But someone like that, who goes down as one of the greatest 2 or 3 players ever to kick a ball, I'm sorry, but anyone else, I wouldn't be saying this, but someone like that, you've got to start dealing with that situation differently. And I don't think they communicated well enough. Not that he's right now.
It sounds like you're defending him again, Rio.
No. I'm defending the previous elements that we saw leading up to this point. Up to this interview, I'll defend him. I'll say the club have a big responsibility to communicate it better. But here and now...
Communicate what?
What their plans were with him.
He wanted to leave. He asked to leave. That was his plan.
Yeah, so then if they don't let him leave, what is the plan going forward?
Nobody wanted him.
No, if they don't let him leave, what's the plan then? Whatever happens, he stays, yeah? What's your plans now?
What do you mean, what's the plan?
You've got to communicate with somebody. You can't sit there and go, I'm gonna bring you on for 2 minutes. Have that. Have 2 minutes.
So he said in the Manchester derby he never brought him on out of respect for Cristiano Ronaldo. They were losing 6-2 in a derby game. And I can understand that. And I think he was criticised a little bit for that, Eric Ten Hag, for saying that. But I actually thought, yeah, I can understand that, and that's fair enough. But he was criticised for that, and then it was fed out that Cristiano Ronaldo still wanted to play, still wanted to come on the pitch, he still wanted to have an impact. And then a few weeks later, he does ask him to come on with 2 minutes to go, and it's a lack of respect, and he walks off the pitch. Rio, he's bang in the wrong. This thing about communication, he wanted to leave. What's the communication? Yes, you speak to players, and I get he's different, and I understand he's not a mere mortal. I think you're right in that, and certain players like that you have to treat completely different. But if you were a manager and a player wanted to leave, didn't go on obviously wasn't in the pre-season tours, then getting up to speed with fitness-wise, the team actually looks better without him. You can't deny that. Now, you can speak to him about, okay, Cristiano, I'm not going to use you for the next few games because of X, Y, or Z, but I might need you from the bench, or this game I'm going to play you. That's the only communication I think you can see. And he was made captain last week at Aston Villa. I know there's a few
that's
players
what I'm saying, Jamie.
It was the right decision because he's Cristiano Ronaldo.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Has that communication, what you've even laid out there, has that been had? I'd argue not. That's what I'm saying. I'd argue it hasn't.
Is that all Cristiano Ronaldo wants? He wants a 5-minute chat with the manager to tell him he's going to play in the Europa League game in about 2 weeks. Is that it?
No. I just think, listen, you look at even his tweet that he put out. He put out a tweet, I think, on the 3rd of August about releasing some sort of information and the real story, the real facts around it, yeah?
What real story? There is no real facts.
But what I'm saying, yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a real story or not. He could have been blagging. But what I mean is surely that the club go, well, we can't have this. Let's get round the table and iron this out. If any business, one of your biggest assets and worldwide figures comes out and says something like that, there's going to be something coming out, a rocket at some point. You go in to kind of, listen, we need to make sure we put measures in place that it doesn't come out, or we manage the situation. That's the. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying, but if I was the club, you got to preempt that type of stuff.
Rio,
you're getting this wrong. Cristiano Ronaldo is not an asset for Man United right now. He's a liability. There's a massive difference. He's on £500,000 a week, and no other club out there wants to take him. He's a massive problem for Manchester United. Huge problem. And the only way this gets fixed.
He's only a problem now. He weren't a problem last season, mate. He scored 24 goals last season in a struggling team. He's the best player last season.
I totally agree. Yeah, him or David De Gea would have been the best player for Manchester United.
So why is there a problem now then?
Pardon?
So why is there a problem now then?
Are you serious?
Yeah, because there's problems because there's been, yes, he's played a part in that, but also the club have to take responsibility in that as well. Well, I'll go back to communication.
What have the club done wrong?
They should have got rid of him in the summer.
I think that's the biggest mistake.
Yeah.
Is that in the summer, he wanted to go. Now, you mentioned, Jamie, that he announced that. He didn't. And I think that's the problem. And I think Ronaldo himself alluded to that. I've never said anything, but his actions and the actions of his agent certainly seem to make it look like he wanted to.
We're all in the media and we're all big boys. If
I'm saying.
Trying to tell me and be that naive that you feel that Ronaldo never come out and said that.
No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the technicality of he didn't announce it.
feed that information out to the press and he knows exactly what he's doing. Let's not be.
No, I'm not denying that. No, I'm saying he 100%. I got the vibe that he wanted to leave, and the club pretty much come out and said that's not happening. You're not going. That was the first mistake.
I just hope these grey areas that we're sitting here like shouting about, right, get opened up in this interview. There's obviously a lot more to come. I just hope that it's all laid bare, that we're not having to sit here and go like, oh, I wonder if it's just there for us.
Yeah, well, the club's mistake in the summer was about keeping him. Now, maybe they kept him because they couldn't replace him. Or maybe, I thought it was pretty obvious from May, to be honest, that he was.
Do you think the club wanted to keep him?
Well, the actions tell me that they did.
I don't think Eric Ten Hag wants to keep him.
The club and Eric Ten Hag aren't the same entity, are they?
Yeah, I don't think it was between.
He played this brilliantly, and Man United have had a really good start to the season, but I think a lot of it comes from the fact of how the manager's seen it in the supporters' eyes. I think he's come out of this flying with colours. As I said, it could have been a better start, lost a few games here and there. Europa League's gone okay, but I think how he's handled the Ronaldo situation, I look at that and I think it strengthens him. I think in not just Manchester United fans' eyes, thinking that this fella could be, the real deal, if you like, the guy who could get Manchester United back to where they belong, because they've had great managers before, but he looks like he's got a little bit of steel about him to deal with that Ronaldo situation. As I said, I think he's done fantastically well in there. But all this stuff about let's find out what really happened behind the scenes, I honestly don't think it's that complicated. Ronaldo wanted to leave. He can't accept being a substitute. No one at this minute wants to take on £500,000 a week and take the problem, which right now is Cristiano Ronaldo. Because
one thing I agree with, I think with Jamie, I agree with you on the point now. I think Eric Ten Hag has probably got what he wants now, and Cristiano Ronaldo will get what he wants. I think that's the fallout from this, regardless of how this interview plays out when we see it. Both parties.
Do you reckon he gets sacked? Do you recken they terminate his contract? What do you reckon happens now?
Well, I'm going to put it a different way. So I'm going to ask Jamie first, seeing as always the guest. Jamie, what happens with Ronaldo now?
Well, I think he wants to get out in January, doesn't he? I think he wanted to get out in the summer. I don't think there's any takers. I think he's now almost forcing the club to probably sack him, or just say you can have a free transfer, because if they're going to lose Ronaldo, they're probably thinking, I don't even know what the figure would be. Could they get 15, 20, 30 million for him or something? I don't know. I think that's probably what they bought him for, wasn't it? Around about that figure. So maybe in the summer they were thinking, can we get our money back? No one wants to go near it. And I think he's forcing the club into a corner now to basically either sack him or let him go on a free and just say, well, you're too much. You're not worth the hassle right now, so we'll move you on.
They should have let him go in the summer on a free if this is how...
exactly.
If you say preempting this, they should have just gone, do you know what, you can go.
But my question to you, Rio, is, just to be clear for everyone watching, and Jamie here, of course, you're not backing what Ronaldo has done, like the trailer.
Well, I want to get into this because I've got all of the different bits here.
I know, I just want to make it clear.
No, I'm saying that in this situation here...
Yeah.
It's a yes or no answer, Rio.
He's done everything he can to be out of this club. And I would say, and I'd flip it and say, if Cristiano Ronaldo was a player in a dressing room and the player done this, he wouldn't be happy with this.
He's not coming back.
No, so but he wants this end situation. This is what he wants.
So you're saying he wants out.
So for instance, I played in dressing rooms with Ruud van Nistelrooy, David Beckham, Roy Keane, Jaap Stam before. 4 players under Fergie who done far less than this, never put on the red shirt ever again.
So it's the fact that he's come out and he's spoken about the issues at United, which a lot of fans, by the way, have said is correct. Like, training ground needs updating.
I think the training ground and stuff, all the infrastructure of the club and the technology, that's just by the by. That's not the stuff that even really concerns me, really. It's more, when you say you don't respect the manager, they're there. I don't think there's any way back. They can't. The club. How are the club going to allow Ronaldo to come back and undermine their current manager? They can't.
It's not just that. It's a little bit deeper than that. For me, I think he's tried to PR it a little bit by, Piers Morgan's come out and mentioned, he's got loads to say about the Glazers. Has he? Yeah. Where's this been forever? Why now? And the why now for me is he's just trying to justify his actions in trying to escape from the club. There is no other motive for me that in Ronaldo's eyes that he's trying to get out of the football club and he's going to throw as much as he can to get the Roy Keane treatment. Rio, that's what I think he wants.
Rio, you were critical, correct me if I'm wrong, about Ralph Rangnick coming out and exposing some of the stuff that were going on at United. Do you see similarities in this? Is there a difference?
He spoke about it. Neville spoke about it.
Yeah, I've had these conversations. I've had conversations with Cristiano about it. I disagree with some of the stuff. I agree with some of the stuff that he's done, but like,
can you change his mind
on this?
Yeah, or anything.
Cristiano, he believes this, and that's it. And you have to respect someone's decision. He's gone about this in a certain way that he feels is going to get him the end game, which his desire is, and I think that desire is to be out of this football club.
Does he get it?
I don't see any other way.
Jamie?
Yeah, I think he does get it. I think Rio's right. You can't say that about a manager. How does he go back in for after the World Cup and when they start again? I just don't see how that works going forward. And I think Manchester United, to be honest, made a huge mistake bringing him in. And I think they've got to be. You just got to take the hit, financially, in terms of you're not going to get no transfer fee for him. There weren't too many clubs coming in for him in the summer, maybe because of a transfer fee with the wages. So I think the only thing that Manchester United can do is move him on. And move him on, I think, ends up having to be sacking, because I don't think there'll be too many people out there who want to take him for free. And you can't believe you say that about a player like Ronaldo, but it gets to the stage where do the goals that he could get wherever he could go sort of equate to your club becoming the Cristiano Ronaldo club, because he's that big a name. He's actually, I know social media now is a mad old place. Me and Rio know that, but his following and fans it's bigger than football clubs, and the club he's going to go to next will not be on the level of Manchester United. So he will be like so much bigger than that club in those terms, in terms of social media circles, and sometimes I don't know if it's quite worth the hassle right now of the baggage that he brings right now. So I think.
Do you know what, Jamie? Just to finish off, it was worth it. Bearing in mind he was wanted by City and Pep, it was worth it taking him just to not let him go to City and win a league in a City kit. Trust me.
Okay, well, listen, I can totally get that. And I don't know. I just thought Man United at that time probably didn't have the manager in terms of Oli to go up against, City and Liverpool. But what he's had done, it was just building sort of slowly, nicely. Fernandes coming in, Maguire captaincy. He's got to second. You're getting to semi-finals. Now, I know that wasn't enough for United, and you needed to make that next step. I just always felt the Ronaldo signing, you should have been signing the new Ronaldo. Who was the next Ronaldo?
So what do you do, Jamie, then? Do you let him go to Man United? I'm asking because from a neutral perspective, do you let him go to Man City and then destroy their legacy? Like all of those batch of players, including Ronaldo. What do you do in that situation?
Sorry, Joe, what do you mean? Whose legacy is he destroying?
Well, if you think about it, Ronaldo is at Man United, and obviously he's loved over there, winning the Champions League. He is really their darling, right? Do you know what I mean? So do you let him go to Man City, win a title with the dominance that City already have? That's a slap in the face. It's 10 times worse than Tevez. Do you allow him to do that if you're in that situation? What do you do?
No, I understand that. I know Alex Ferguson got involved. And Rio, you sorted it all out, didn't you? It was all down to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, getting involved, making sure, dotting the I's, crossing the T's.
Yeah.
It's like Everton signing Suarez, isn't it? Or Stevie.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I don't know. I just.
It's a yes or a no question, mate.
No, I wouldn't sign them. Not in a million years. And when you talk about legacy, if Ronaldo, if you believe all this nonsense about he still loves the fans, he came to United for the fans, why would he even be going to Man City in the first place? It's just all nonsense. Don't fall for that, boys. You know that.
No, I'm not falling for that. This is a guy that called himself a slave when he was trying to get out in 2008. This is a guy that actually left in 2009 when we was onto something that could have been pretty special at the club.
It was his dream.
He whatever. He came back, nearly goes to Manchester City, and then the actions the last 6 months, the door can hit him on the arse on the way out, as far as I'm concerned. I'll drive him wherever he wants to go.
I mean, obviously, I don't know too many Manchester United fans. What is that? I mean, I can see social media, but what do you think the fallout would be from this? Not right now, because I know people would be emotional, but at the end of the season, 6, 12, 18 months' time, what would the feeling be around?
On Ronaldo himself?
United as a whole.
He'll be loved again.
Yeah, I think those of us with remembering are never going to forget some of the stuff that he did in a United shirt. my lad's 16. He remembers Ronaldo being 2-3-year-old, maybe when Ronaldo was good at United and winning in Moscow and that sort of stuff. And then he's watched his career, go to Juventus and Real Madrid and stuff like that. But his overriding memory of him, and anyone younger than him, he's only going to have this sort of carnage that's happened in the last 6 months when you're going to have to try and tell people you didn't see him in 2008, you didn't see him in 2009. What came back and played for us wasn't the same sort of character. And I thought he got blamed. I thought Ronaldo was correct in a couple of things he said in the interview with Piers Morgan, apart from the fact it was with Piers Morgan and The Sun. That's never going to go down well. But the fact that I think he's tried to conflate some things that we'll all agree on, like the training ground ain't right, and now he got blamed for a lot of stuff last year. And I agree with him. I think he did get blamed for a lot of things last year that he didn't need to be blamed for and that he wasn't responsible for. But I think I said to both of you two here, I'd have got rid of him in the summer because I could see the end coming. And United did need to go in a different direction. Now, they didn't. We signed a lot of players. I was shocked at the Casemiro signing. I thought that was never going to happen. I thought that was pure paper talk. And I think the money for a striker was spent on Casemiro. Now, in the long run, that might work out to be a good thing. In the long run, it might work out to be a bad thing. It's too early to tell right now. But United are going to have to get a striker in the summer if Ronaldo's allowed to go. So where do we sit in 6 and 12 months after this? It depends on the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Mate, listen, I think that's rubbish. It's Diego Maradona done mad stuff in his career. He's loved by everybody. Cristiano Ronaldo will be the same. There's no two ways about it.
Well, the club's got to make the decision first. We can assume what they're going to do, but they ain't done it yet.
We know he'll be loved by you, Rio. There's no doubt about it.
Well, Rude got sacked. Well, pretty much got sacked. He got sold, didn't it?
Roy Keane
got sacked.
Madnesses as well.
I actually don't think Keane did anything wrong. Players who've gone have been moved on against their wishes. Stam and Beckham, they're all still loved. Yeah. I think those of us with a memory of the 2000s will probably still love him. But that younger generation coming through, if this is all they've experienced, they might not have that connection some of us do.
Well, listen, I think any more points, Rio?
No, I'm good,
Steve?
man. I'm good.
Jamie,
thanks,
thank
Jamie,
you
man.
very
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Cheers, yo. Cheers, Steve. Rio, all the best, mate.
Well, that's it, Rio. Listen, that was done quickly, boy. You puts out the tweets. I thought you were just like gonna hide away a little bit or maybe just react on Twitter. But the fact that you tweeted him,
no,
you know
what? On social media,
like
you gotta go like, and you know, Jamie, old teammate. We like a bit of jostling here and there, so it's nice just to bring it to life on the camera, man.
Yeah,
it's good.
No, it's
good.
good.
Nice of him to come on. So thanks again, Jamie, for coming on. Really appreciate it.
I just want to.
You tried to hammer him with Stevie, man. His liberties. Man's giving up his time, and you're doing that.
Stevie's the greatest.
I got a job description area.
Okay, Man United all the way.
That's it.
Okay,
One of them is I'm a Liverpool.
Sorry, go on then. What was you going to say?
I just want to just put a bit of clarity out there because obviously Jamie's trying to hammer you, and obviously he's sticking the boot into Ronaldo, and obviously you supported Ronaldo up until this point. I just want to make it abundantly clear for everybody because I see the tweets you're tagging him in. People be like, "Is Rio going to talk about this? He's going to still support him after this."
This is why we love Vibe with Five.
Yeah, but I want just while everyone's listening, I want your download on what's just happened because in the summer, mistakes were made maybe on both sides.
Yep.
There's potentially some communication issues. Don't necessarily agree with that, but there's been some potential issues. Ten Hag might have communicated better. There's some talk that he might have actually communicated exactly his plans to him, asked him to thrive under him the same way he did under Ancelotti, Mourinho, etc. But let's just circle this interview, and why has Wayne Rooney got a pasting in this for starters?
I know, yeah.
Everyone's had a lick in this.
Well, Waz has come out and said a few things about him, which is he's within his rights to do that, and obviously Cristiano's taken offence to him and addressed him in the interview, which is you'd like to, as mates, you want to see that done behind closed doors. You know what I mean? But it is what it is now between them two, and I don't think they'll be sending each other any Christmas cards. And Waz will probably be on another list of.
You'll be airing him as well, isn't it?
Airing him, like custard pies everywhere for Gary Neville, Wazza, and Jamie Carragher. But it's I don't know. I'm quite clear with this situation. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't want.
Over now.
It's over. Yeah, that love affair with Man United is finished right now. The book's been closed.
Never play again.
I don't see him playing again because you one thing that happens, and I think Cristiano is well aware, if you undermine the manager who is building the project, there can't be a way back. So he snookered the club and put them into a position where there's no way back. Whether anyone at the club wanted to keep Cristiano, they can't now after what he said. you could, if that interview was 2 minutes long and not however long it's going to be, an hour or 2 hours.
It's only 90 minutes after the season, by the way.
And he said that comment there that I don't respect the manager.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything else I said, that is going to be the reason why he goes.
2p for Sir Alex Ferguson's thoughts. He was the one that coined the, if any player thinks they're bigger than the manager, that's the door.
And that's the point I look at now. If Man United are going to try and cling on to anything from the era from before, I think that would be one of the things that they lean on. Like I said before, I'll reiterate that same point. I played with players, Van Nistelrooy, Roy Keane, David Beckham. Before I was there, Jaap Stam, all players, the manager booted out of the football club because he said that they thought they were players that they were bigger than the club at the time, and for different reasons. All of them reasons, by the way, were nothing like what we've seen today.
Paul Ince as well, right? I think
less so with Paul
No,
Ince. Less so, but
it was them 4 guys more.
Boy.
So that's where I sit.
I think that it was a big old deflection tactic to try and. Piers Morgan's mentioned he's going to go for the Glazers and all that lot, and I'm glad he does, because I want him gone as much as the next person, and maybe more. But it feels like he's saying this to justify the bits of the interview which are unjustifiable. Like you said, I don't respect the manager.
But Steve, the point I keep going back to is us, everyone in media, the fans knew this moment was coming. Because on the 3rd of August, I think it was, he stated that he's going to release everything. He's going to say the truth, right? So whether you think that the truth is nothing or whatever, there has to be measures put in place by the football club to say, well, we need to know get around the table and find out what that is. Yeah. What are you going to say?
Well,
What's been said? What's been done? What's your grievances? Can we manage this situation now? Or even that time, and he goes, listen, I'm not talking. There's no communication now for me. I'm done with it because of what's happened with my daughter, with what's happened with the lack of respect, etc. I ain't talking, but just watch. Then the club can go, you know what? Right, sit down. You're right. You're not playing no more because we're not going to risk that. So you're not playing. You can go if you get a club in the next window. But those conversations, I want someone from the club now to come out and go, you know what? Bang, let me do my side of the story.
Right, that's probably going to happen. Do you know
There might be a statement
right here
before this comes live. Hopefully not.
Well, hopefully not. Listen, we've got to wrap it up here. We do have an episode of Bible 5 that's coming out as well. But if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do so. Get your comments in. Do you agree with Steve? Do you agree with Rio? Do you agree with Jamie? For me, I'm just loving it, bro. Do you know what I mean? I'm watching your club just...
Listen,
whilst we're top of the table.
It's Monday. Right. Jamie Carragher's been on. You don't even know what's coming in the next 4 weeks. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a different conversation.
We're even going to have people that have won titles coming on.
It's crazy. It's Listen.
Multiple.
Jamie's won the same amount of titles as you two, by the way.
You know what I mean?
In about 15 years.
We can't claim that much.
Wow.
He's got a good sport coming on.
Well, guys, that's it. Keep on watching 5. Myself, Joel Beya, Stephen Howson, Rio Ferdinand, signing out. Peace.